Hello and welcome back to An Old Man Watches, and today I'm going to be talking about the 1998 comedy drama Pleasantville. Our main characters for the film are the sibling high schoolers, David and Jennifer, pictured on your screen. They're most definitely not a picture-perfect TV family. David is a socially awkward outcast, while Jennifer uses outward rebellion and sexual promiscuity to disguise her own lack of happiness and really hope for the future. In the circumstances, it's perhaps understandable that David has become obsessed with the black and white 1950s sitcom Pleasantville, which features the idyllic Parker family who have basically everything that his life seems to lack. One night, David's Pleasantville obsession clashes with Jennifer's plans to hook up with the local bad boy. The ensuing argument results in the destruction of their television's remote control. Fortunately, a mysterious TV repairman arrives and, impressed by David's knowledge of Pleasantville, gives him a strange remote control before departing. When they use this remote control, David and Jennifer find themselves transported into the black and white world of the Pleasantville TV show. Forced to adopt the role of two of the show's characters, Bud and Mary Sue Parker, David and Jennifer explore the wholesome but slightly peculiar town. David tells Jennifer that they must stay in character and not disrupt the town, a strategy she does actually try to follow by dating a boy from school, like her character does. But Jennifer's ideas about dating are very different from those of the sheltered, saccharine world of Pleasantville. She opens the lad's eyes to a whole new world and unintentionally starts a ripple of change across the formerly static and unchanging town. One that is visually represented by the spreading of colour across the building and people of the once black and white utopia. Now, change, of course, can be a scary thing, and many of Pleasantville's inhabitants are far from pleased by the upheaval that sweeps the town. So I saw and liked Pleasantville when it was on at the cinemas, so I picked it up on DVD when it became available cheaply, and then I didn't watch the movie for nearly an entire decade. For some reason, I was just never quite in the right mood for it. I eventually actually got motivated to watch it only because I didn't want to go a full 10 years of owning the disc without ever actually viewing it. And when I did finally sit down to watch it, I had a really good time. Better than I expected, in fact. Pleasantville is certainly not a subtle film, at least not on the surface level, and it doesn't quite answer all the questions it raises. But what it does very well. And there is perhaps a bit more going on under the surface with it than the obvious. So let's talk about a few of what are, in my opinion, the film's key features. So on the face of it, Pleasantville, as I said, is not a subtle movie. Its critique of racism is overt, blatant and unambiguous. After the authorities begin their crackdown on what they consider the corruption of their town, their steps include having stores put up signs saying "no coloureds" in their front windows. Now, in the film's universe, this is a reference to the fact that those who have been quote-unquote corrupted are now in full colour rather than black and white. But, I mean, there's an obvious parallel there to the enforced segregation and Jim Crow laws of the American South. They're very, very obvious. The visual metaphor of colour representing more modern thinking and freedom versus the idyllic but drabbed and limited conservatism of the status quo, which is black and white, is also not a subtle one, but it is an effective one. Film is a visual medium after all, and using this motif allows almost instant communication of key developments. A flush of colour spreading across someone's hands or face immediately tells you that they found the thing that fundamentally changes their worldview and opens them up to wider experiences. It also leads to one of the film's most emotionally effective scenes, when Betty Parker, the kid's Pleasantville mother, conceals the fact that she is now in full colour by applying black and white makeup to her exposed skin. We literally see her fade into monochrome as she hides the truth of who she is. Now, I think that's an effective and efficient piece of visual communication, one that the film trusts the audience to understand. And the thing is, despite its obvious, even heavy-handed messaging, the no-coloured signs, the book burnings, the fact that there is no way to leave the town until it finally embraces the modernity that David and Jennifer have inadvertently introduced, despite all of that, Pleasantville has more going on than its obvious surface critique of racism and sexual prudery. Some viewers may well miss or ignore this deeper thoughtfulness, but that doesn't mean it's not there. I've already mentioned the scene of Betty putting on monochrome makeup, but the film has other aspects like this. David's initial efforts to stop Jennifer from ruining the town, for instance, stem out of the fact that he sees the other people here only as characters in a story. As he gets to know them and like them and see them as more than just archetypes they play on the TV show, his efforts to stop Jennifer cease, and he in fact becomes the greatest advocate and agent for change. And I think there's something in that, the message that we can best understand and work with others when we start seeing them as fully rounded individuals. Imagine other people complexly, as author John Green would say. I also like that the ways people become coloured relate to them learning new things about themselves and the world. The original catalyst may be a sexual awakening, but other characters become coloured because they discover art or literature, things that enrich their lives and widen their horizons. Like even the fact that the coloured characters are allowed to fail at things, something that has never happened in the picture-perfect monochrome world that came before, is a powerful statement. Pleasantville absolutely offers a clear and obvious criticism of racism, but there's more than that just going on here. And I think that's a big part of why I got a lot more out of watching it the second time than I initially expected that I would. I remembered the surface stuff, I didn't remember the depth. Of course, all of this liberal progressive messaging could easily come across as twee and preachy, a modern fairy tale as out of touch with reality as the idealised 1950s sitcoms it lampoons. That Pleasantville doesn't fall into this trap is in part due to the layered writing I already mentioned, but just as important is the excellent cast, who do a great job of selling the journey that their characters undertake. We've got a pre-Spider-Man Tobey Maguire, who is a good choice as the somewhat awkward David, who needs to grow out of his comfort zone, while Reese Witherspoon, who plays Jennifer, is, basically always a good casting choice. She has a great deal of range, and I've never seen her give a bad performance. And they're supported here by many other solid actors. Pleasantville was critically acclaimed, but not commercially successful in its release, and I think it's worthy of a bigger audience, and its message is still relevant today. If you've never seen it, check it out. And if you have seen it, well, maybe it's time for another visit. Next time, I commit nerd heresy by being only mildly positive about the geek favourite 2002 TV series Firefly. But that's next time. Until then, thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.